Hi students, today we're going to talk about lesson 2.6, which is all about algebraic and geometric proofs. And after this lesson, you're going to be able to use algebra to write two-column proofs and use properties of equality to write geometric proofs. So let's start with some vocabulary. The first one is an algebraic proof. And we're just proving that something is true with algebraic statements. And the statements that we're going to use are these properties of real numbers. So I would suggest that you hit pause and take a few minutes to write each of those properties down. Okay, so now that you've got the algebraic properties written down, we just have two more vocabulary terms. One is a two-column proof, and it's just where you're going to record different statements and reasons to justify an answer that you come up with. And then a geometric proof, it's very similar to algebra, but we're going to use different geometric properties to solve problems as well. So again, hit pause, take a few minutes to write down those different properties regarding geometric proofs. Okay, so now that you're back, let's do an example on solving an algebraic, using the algebraic properties. And so we're given this conjecture: if 5x plus 1 divided by 2 minus 8 equals 0, then x equals 3. So here is this two-column proof that we're going to have you set up. And so we're given if 5x plus 1 divided by 2 minus 8 equals 0, then we're going to prove that x equals 3. And we're going to do so by using the algebraic properties that we just wrote down. So under our statement column, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite my 5x plus 1 divided by 2 minus 8 equals 0. And my reason for this is that's what's given to us. So from here, we're going to work our way towards solving this particular equation. We're going to solve for x and use what we've already learned with solving equations to do so. So from here, I know that I can add 8 to both sides. And so we end up getting 5x plus 1 over 2 is equal to 8. Okay, and what's my reason for this? This is the addition property. I'm going to abbreviate property of equality. Okay, we're keeping both sides of the equal sign the same. So we have 5x plus 1 over 2 is equal to 8. And so what's the next thing that we need to do in order to solve for x? We're going to multiply both sides of this equation by 2. Okay, and by doing so then, we have 5x plus 1, and 8 times 2 is equal to 16. So if you look back at the table, we know that we can do this because the multiplication property, equality. Okay, so now we have 5x plus 1 is equal to 16. So the next thing that we need to do again to work towards getting x alone is subtract 1 from both sides. So in this case, we have 5x is equal to 15. And again, looking at that list, what is it? What do we use? It's this one is the subtraction property of equality. Okay, and then the very last step that we need to do is divide both sides by 5. Oops, I guess I have one too many spots here. So we end up getting x equals 3. So I'm not going to use that number 5 spot. So in here, why is this? Well, that's because the division property of equality says that I can do that. Division property of equality. So the big thing to look for as you're solving these problems is to take a look at that list of properties and figure out which one of those that you're using allows you to do that. So it's kind of like show and tell. The show part is all the numbers that we're doing over here on the left-hand side with our statements, and then the tell part is the reasons where we're giving the different properties and stuff that make it work. So there's an algebraic one. Let's take a look now at example 2, where we actually do a two-column proof that proves this one geometrically. So we have if A is congruent to angle B and the measure of angle A equals 37, then B, the measure of angle B is equal to 37. So what are we given? So from that statement, we know two things. One, angle A is congruent to angle B, and the measure of angle A equals 37 degrees. And so our job is to prove, using those geometric properties, our job is to prove that the measure of angle B is equal to 37 degrees as well. So that's our job. So the first thing that I'm going to do is write down my two given statements that we have here. So we have angle A is congruent to angle B, that's given. And the measure of angle A equals 37 degrees, and that is also given. So from here, I know that angle A is congruent to angle B, and this is from my definition of congruent angles. And it's also given to us. And then from here, because we know that angle A is 37 degrees, this is just substitution. And then from here, I'm just going to flip it around and say, so then angle B, the measure of angle B is equal to 37 degrees. And from here, this is just the symmetric property. And the reason why I use the symmetric property is because we're trying to prove that the measure of angle B is equal to 37 degrees, so we want to put it on the left-hand side, just so there's some continuity for it. So there you have it, folks, algebraic and geometric properties and two-column proofs.